in certain circles, there are times that you meet people who's who embody the quote that I absolutely love. The quote I love that says is, your vision has to be big enough that other people can see themselves in it. And this woman right here has a vision around empowering parents to not only be themselves, show up authentically, but have a relationship with their children that is unrivaled, right? Doesn't matter their friendship statuses and all these other things. She is helping bring some unique perspectives, talking about things that are really important to us as parents. Now, here's the crazy part, because I want to walk through a few things. Number one, as entrepreneurs, as some of you are budding entrepreneurs, as all of you in our tribe, lovely known as Successfully Discontent, one thing you have found is that it's very difficult, I know I did, especially when my kids became teenagers, to speak the same language in the same room at the same time. So she has gotten to not only be able to master that in her own journey with her children, but here's the cool part. She's not just keeping her learnings and her understanding to herself. She's actually been sharing it. She is the host of the Powerful Parenting Journey podcast, which I highly suggest that every single person go listen, especially mama bears out there who've been climbing the corporate ladder, and maybe you feel a bit guilty about potentially pursuing your passions, or you're wondering, can I ever have that type of relationship with my kids again, or for the first time? Let me tell you something. You need to go listen to her show. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on the woman that you're going to hear from today, Stephanie Dove Blake. Listen, I met her through a mastermind. Inside of ClickFunnels, we are a part of the same community. And so we got a chance to actually meet the first time down in Mexico. And her and her husband, Johnny, were like the most gracious people. They didn't know us from a can of paint. We were brand new getting down there. And being in the same room with just like a couple of hundred people, you kind of feel like a fish out of water. She was very friendly, always a smiling face. Her and her husband were very nice. And we got to know each other over the last few months. Well, we had a big marketing conference not too long ago. And man, since we met then up until now, she's done some incredible things, like interview a Russell Brunson, like talk to people about their parenting styles and what they've done and the things that they've gone through in their home. More importantly, she has a community of people that is powerhouse. Listen, I got so many questions, and y'all know me. I keep a pen and notes, so it's about time. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to some and present to others someone that I am getting to know, and someone you are going to definitely love and respect by the end of this. Stephanie Dove Blake, how are you doing today?
Hey, oh my gosh, I am so blessed to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. And that's an incredible intro, Chris. And I can say the same goes for you and your beautiful wife. Y'all have been an absolute pleasure to get to know. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I know there's a couple of things that are going to happen. I got people that'll be asking some things and sharing some stuff down in the chat, so we'll get to that. But I want to kind of, I want to start here, because when I was looking at what you have your hands on, like right now in the moment, what I'm more surprised by is the fact that you've done this with children. You've done this. They've seen the change of mom, right? They've gotten a chance to watch your journey, but more importantly, they're also getting to enjoy the fruits of the sacrifices and the labor that you've put in. So here's why I'd like to start. Number one, if I were to introduce you from stage, I hope I did a good job on that introduction, but if I were to introduce you from stage and you were to share like the number one thing that you're after based on where you are today, when you look back at all that you've achieved so far, what are you really after right now? And then give us a little flavor of like, what's your day-to-day world as a mom running a business with a very supportive husband? I got some questions about Johnny too, because he's such he's a really cool guy. We got the chance to vibe and talk about some really interesting conversations. But what's it like being a mom, running a business, having engagement with your children, and in some ways having to hold yourself accountable to the very thing that you're actually sharing with the world?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay, well, first off, what am I all about right now? I mean, oh, I've done a lot of things in my life, and I'm 43 years old, you guys. I still can't even believe it. I'm 43, and I have four kids. They're 10, 15, almost 18, and 21. And I find myself in this place of life where I've built a seven-figure digital marketing agency that is currently running. I have a team of 15, and that agency has completely and totally changed our lives. And whenever I walked on stage to get my first 2 Comma Club award, I was so incredibly blessed and so in awe of just the whole moment. But I remember after the fact, I remember thinking, okay, listen, Stephanie, talking to myself. The next time I go and I get a 2 Comma Club award, this has been absolutely incredible. But the next time, and there will be a next time, I want to do it because I have represented impact in families' lives. I was thinking about what is a business I can do with my kids? What is a business that is about something that I care so much about, which is families and parenting in this crazy digital age where we've got screens everywhere, and what is something that I know a lot about that I could share with other families. And so that gave way to the birth of Powerful Parenting, the business. And I still run my incredible agency. I love my digital marketing agency. I love my team. And I'm also venturing out and I'm believing and holding belief to create a beautiful tribe for people to be a part of who are high achievers and incredible people. But in the process of building an empire online, they don't want to lose the kingdom at home. And so that is the main focus. And, it's not easy, I have to say, doing what I choose to do every day. There's a lot that goes on. I was just telling Chris before we jumped on, abnormally, we had like crazy fires over in my agency today. And so it took a lot more time out of my day than it normally does. But between that and then starting this, and then involving my kids, like all of the resources that we're creating in the Powerful Parenting tribe, almost every single one of them, my kids have touched it in some way, shape, or form. Whether they gave their insight as someone who has been on that social media platform, or one of them actually made the walkthrough completely themselves, or one of them helped me build the funnel. Like, I've got my kids involved as much as I possibly can with everything they've got going on in their lives. And again, it's not always perfect, but the whole idea here is that we don't have to be perfect parents. We just need to work on how do we show up powerfully in our kids' lives. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And I want to help other people do it as well. Because if I'm going to leave a mark, I want to leave a mark in that vein.
So, wow. Okay, you started somewhere that I wanted to get to a little later, but we're gonna go here right now because I'm gonna tell you something that I have struggled with, and I don't really have an answer. I'm not saying that you will have a perfect answer, but maybe you'll be able to help me navigate these waters. So, there's the narrative out there of like, hey, build something that can be a legacy you could leave for your children, or build a business to leave for your children. But Stephanie, there's somebody like me going, yeah, but what if that's not an interest of your children? So the thing that I naturally want to ask is, well, Stephanie, how do you go about involving your children in the business that you're building? Because I have not been as successful in that realm. I got an 18 and 19-year-old, right? And so they're at that place in their life where they're off to college now. Now they're exploring kind of their own world. So, but even when they were younger, I mean, from my wife doing real estate investing and, us building our, one of the first businesses we built together was in the health and wellness space, like, what did you do? What were the things that you went, okay, this is how I can involve my children? I like the idea you mentioned something there about, and I want you to explore that, you let them touch it a little bit. Talk to me about how you started that process with the kids and how do you get these kids interested?
Yeah. So I have to say, I come at it from a different approach in that I know that each kid is so unique. They're so different. And each one has a different gift that have been given, and then there's gifts that you can cultivate, right?
Yeah.
And so one of my kids is a techie, like from birth, just like me and my husband. Me and my husband are both techies. I still remember the first time my fingers touched a computer. I think I was 9 years old, and I literally felt like a fish that had finally found water. Like, I understood the Windows operating system backwards and forwards. I learned how to build computers. Like, it was just my thing, right? Like, from so early. And my firstborn is very much like that. And so then we go on to my second son. He's an incredible leader. He's an incredible communicator. He's probably going to be really good at sales. He's still working on some of this stuff. And then my third daughter is hyper creative, and she is someone I can hand a to-do list to, and she's going to knock it out. And it's incredible. And I see that gift and that skill in her. And so my youngest, she's still learning. She's a lot like my husband is. She's kind of the life of the party. She brings joy wherever she is, and not as much techie. So they're all just so different, right? And so whenever we talk about having our kids involved, I think it's super important to not shove a square peg in a round hole, and to actually just bring your kids along on the journey to see where they naturally fit in the landscape of your business. But there's a very important caveat to that, right? Because how can you do that if you're so enthralled in your business, or you're let's just say, because you can be completely swallowed whole by your business, whether you're at the beginning stages or you're at the ending stages. And I hope that everybody who's listening to this, that whenever you're running a business, that you have a good mentor in your life that's saying, hey, slow down. Don't build an empire to lose the kingdom at home. And a lot of times when we get swallowed whole by our business, we don't have the capacity to actually be thinking about, how do I bring my kid into this conversation? How do I share what just happened in business with my family? Because we're so busy thinking about what just happened in our business, or what that next step is, or what the next funnel is, or the messaging, or this or that, or whatever the thing is, right? In reality, it's hard, but we have to be able to take a breather, make sure we're thinking about things in all veins of our lives, and then we let those veins intersect, right? Or those verticals or those columns, so that business can be shared over with the kids and your husband, and you're bringing them in and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Or, I think it's going to be best if I do this and I'm not sure, or I'm facing this business problem. What do you guys think? And bringing them into the business, even though they may not actually have any wherewithal to give you a great answer for those things, they start to become a part of the business. They start to become a part of what you're doing, and they start to understand the story of what you're building. And I think that's one of the biggest, most important parts, is bringing your kids into the story of what's happening. And I've been so fortunate to have like this crazy transformative story, and my kids did experience that. I mean, we went from not being able to do any extracurricular activities, we didn't get to eat out, kind of ramen noodle nights kind of situation, and just really feeling strapped all the time to, oh my gosh, our entire life has completely and totally changed financially. And what does that look like? And oh my gosh, mom's speaking at events, and what's happening over here, and what's going on over there. And, so it's been incredible to kind of, for them to be able to see that journey happen. And so they've gotten to watch the progression of the effective business. And so, and they've also got to watch me go from working for others and then working for myself, and what that looks like. And sometimes that looks like working really, really hard. And sometimes that looks like getting to play really, really hard.